Who is Russell Simmons?
Diggy's uncle.
Bottom line.
This is Russell Simmons. You're watching Thisis50.com. The rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. And the solution is to get the country out of the hands of the corporations.
So Russell, man, you've been very active in the whole Occupy Wall Street situation. What is your overall view on it?
It's simple. There's people who are elected to represent us, the people who elect them, and they get to office, and instead they work for corporations and special interests. That is not democracy. Democracy is when the people who are elected work for the people. So that's a problem in our democracy that we need to fix. And it's the kind of thing that needs a real uprising to fix. It's not easy to take power back.
And so why do you care so much,
I take
Russell?
it and I give it back. You know, I run 5 charities. I go to work every day for other people. I don't need shit. If I gotta make clothes in Hong Kong because everybody else does, then I will. But I'm making some in America. It's a struggle. I'm competing with people making this stuff in Thailand and Hong Kong and other places. Every issue that they have down at Occupy Wall Street funnels back to the fact that we have legal bribery of our politicians. And 50 said it best when he said they're like prostitutes. They can't help it though, you know, it's like that may be the only way to make money. In other words, they can't compete without having their hand out. But when it gets shut down, when lobbying is illegal, then there's a new America. I know that if we push hard enough, we can make changes.
I'm here in solidarity.
I'm here in solidarity.
All the people.
To all the people.
Who are protesting the money grab.
And so what are the steps that we can take towards making the change?
We got to be out there in the street. You know, we got to have voices like 50, like Kanye, like Russell Brand, you know, like Angela Davis yesterday, like Reverend Jackson a couple days ago, like Reverend Sharpton, like all those people who are supporting and promoting this movement.
I understand this idea about getting the money out of government, letting the people govern. He wants to give power back to the people. That's why we're here.
Your new book, Super Rich, you know what I'm saying, is the guide to being successful.
Operate from needing nothing. It's how you attract everything. So the book is about that. It's about this kind of practices to get rid of the stress and what separates you from God, or the thing inside you that is the strength. That happiness that sits inside you is there. It's about the practices to dig in, to find it. It's a simple book, simple practices to promote happiness, and that same happiness is good for you in many ways. Like I know money doesn't make you happy, but it kind of this happy attitude I'm talking about makes you money. We have new programs all the time. You know, we haven't really done as much proactive work, but now the right wing is so mad at me for the work. I was down there yesterday with Angela Davis, you know, being there with Katy Perry and Russell Brand, or being there with Kanye West, or you know, people like 50 speaking up. You know, they're gonna blame me. And I didn't even talk to 50 about this. He just know what the right thing to do is. 50 said, "Wake up." As he said, I know it's his site. Wake up. It's common sense.
What do you think about 50 Cent's initiative to feed 1 billion people with SK?
I think that's a beautiful thing. That's a good thing. I think that 50 probably, you know, he realizes, you know, there's nothing they can give you. No way. I mean, nothing they're gonna pay you that's gonna make you any happier or less happy or take from you. And he realizes that he should do something with all that celebrity, all that value, and he's doing it. I applaud him for that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
If your life was a movie, what would it be called?
Sex, Drugs, Money, and God. That's a good life story, right?
Yeah, it is. I'm mad I don't live
Sex,
none of that
drugs,
shit.
money, and God.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sex, and
I'm sober because I got high so much. Took everything.
And
Smoked heroin
heroin?
on the aluminum, you know, Chase the Dragon.
Yeah.
I smoked crack. Obviously, everybody smoked crack. In my generation, we smoked dust, smoked a lot of water. You know, I sold some of those things too. I had a history, but this is the thing about life. This is what I admire your man so much, because he's become such an advocate for other people, and he's come from a place where everybody tell you all day is take, and now he's a giver. And I love that about him. And I love people with them stories because it kind of relates to my story. You know, you have a history, but your history doesn't define your future. I've changed, and I think that's a good message for a lot of people. You know, I'm not here to be a role model, but my experience is some of them, if you lay them out properly, they can help to set a path.
And so what got you off the drugs, man?
I just didn't want to be late. If you're a druggie, I know this, even when I was getting high all the time, the night that I didn't get high, and I wake up in the morning like, wow, feel relieved this morning, right? Right, so how many times you got to do that before you realize that relief is what you want to live for? You find clarity is more fun than being high. And you find that you feel better, you know, and it's more lasting, stable high is clarity.
Right. Clarity is the new cocaine.
Clarity is the new cocaine.
It's clarity.
You can't sell it though. My book is selling happiness, right? I'm selling a book. Like, what do? Like I go to yoga every day. I meditate twice a day. I curse a lot. I do different shit. I don't have one dimension, my character. I just can't curse like that. People think it's nothing, it's language. I'm not gonna hurt nothing, I'm saying I'm not threatening in no way.
A lot of people just say Russell Simmons is somebody that has a lot of different businesses, and he uses the charities and things that he do just to cover all the billions and billions of dollars he makes and
What the fuck
whatnot.
I'm gonna do it? Why would I? They said, well, you're at Occupy Wall Street. You ain't broke. The fuck am I gotta be that selfish? Wait, it's okay to run a charity and give back and everybody applaud you, but you can't go down and show solidarity to people that are suffering?
You know how they do.
You can't want a better America because you're an American, and just because you want people in general, not only America, but the world to be a better place? I don't know how to respond to people who think that I shouldn't, I was joking and saying, well, why would you come through in your Maybach? I was thinking, Jadakiss, why I can't come through in a pecan jack?
All right.
Why I can't come through in the pecan jack?
That's my favorite line. Think about that, right? Why can't I come through?
Def Jam. How did that come about while you were in college?
Oh, that story is, that was Rick in college. I was already manager I produced records and everything. It was Curtis Blow and Run DMC.
This is before Rick Rubin?
Yeah. Then Rick came along, and he made It's Yours with Tila Rock, and I found it. I heard that record, and I met with Rick, and then I was starting my own company because I had a big little buzz that I had built up with the artists I was managing. They wanted to be a record company, and I ended up doing a deal with Rick to just help him with the independent label. He was a part of the Beastie Boys. He was a DJ. Double R. We started a company. We put out the LL Cool J, I Need a Beat. And LL Cool J, I Need a Beat was hot, and then they were still wanting to make a label, and I said, fuck it, let me fold up with my man here. And we started Def Jam. It was his idea for the Def Jam logo.
And so
used to
he
think
made
it
up
was
the
Def.
name too?
He used to think it was DEF.
Oh, okay.
And in the hood, we knew it
That's
was
white
Def.
people. That's white people stuff right there.
But that's good though.
that is good.
That's white people stuff too.
Yeah.
Because like in Long Island, that's why I had no boundaries. And I like that because I used to do everything I could just to disrupt the system. They hated me. I was a little scraggly nigga. They didn't like me in the black music department. I used to come up there and I had my little fisherman hat on, and I'd be high, and I was just not the type of dude they liked. Def Jam 25 is out. And
Word.
that's right now.
And what does that mean to you?
It's a big coffee table book. What does it mean to me?
What does that mean to you? The
25 years. It just means that time flies.
Slick Rick, was he real difficult?
It took time to make his albums. The experience with Slick Rick was beautiful. There was so many good artists. One artist who I really love, is DMX. There was a time we thought he was one of the greatest ever, and he still is, obviously. But his talent was dissipated by different things that everybody is suffering from at some point in their life, and that stuff kind of derailed him a little bit. But he's brilliant.
Do you think he can come back?
I think he can come back. Yeah, why not? Jay-Z's. I had very little contact with him. His first record was on Nutty Professor. He's a good friend. I didn't have anything to do with making his records. But there's a lot of people that have been through office. That's great. Sometimes I'm still listening to an old Queens record, listening to 50 Cent record. I ain't like what he said about Lil Wayne. It was just a record, just wrestling. The record's dope though, just the vibe of it. That kind of record. I heard it just a few days ago.
They love me, then hate me, then love me again. Bitch, I don't pretend, pussy, I ain't your friend.
But his vocals, I like his vocals.
Right.
Remind me of Queens.
Right.
I'm going home or something.
Yeah.
So I like that.
He a true Queens dude.
Yeah, for real.
To his heart.
Crazy.
What about Diggy Simmons? You on
I like Diggy. He makes, I like 50 better, but it's different. I'm old, but Diggy's great. Diggy might be, man, the way I'm around him, so I see how people react to him. He can't help it that he got the little girls chasing him. Diggy makes records that he can't escape. Little girls can't, but he has other talent, which means he has staying power to me.
I'm a comedian. I think one of your greatest accomplishments was Def Comedy Jam. Why did you choose Martin?
You know you on TV now with this motherfucker. Everybody gonna go, look, they gonna Big Bird, y'all, they gonna...
It was Eddie's idea, and I think Andre was jumped out of his seat. And so Martin Lawrence got chosen, but it's on and on. You know how many.
Most definitely.
We'll have another season, and we'll have you on.
Dope. And if you need help picking some street comedians too, I am the streets.
Global Grind is kind of proof of concept because the way it's growing so quickly and the fact that it's so integrated and people do want to consume. Justin Bieber and Diggy have a lot in common. In fact, they hang out together all the time because there's a lot in common. And this is the way America is integrating. But it's not the way the gatekeepers of culture. It's supposed to be the most liberal hotbed in the world is Hollywood, but Hollywood is segregated. And even when they talk about diversity, they promote more segregation.
Right.
Say diversity, give them another black network. That ain't an answer. Martin Luther King ain't fight so we can create more segregation. And that's really what happens, you know. And Justin Bieber don't have to watch BET to know what's cool. He shouldn't have to.
There it is right there, man. Like I always say, you just can't say you're real. It's something you got to be Russell Simmons. This is 50.com exclusive. Hey, do I have something in my eye? I'll go to commercial.